I wonder what Samael will think about my new werewolf form. Can I even do it?
I was pretty sure Samael wouldn't mind me slipping into wolf form, but it still didn't feel right.
All right.
I just couldn't do it while somebody watched.
What about here? Technically not watching us. Do it.
I was pretty sure
He didn't feel right about changing when somebody was looking. What about here?
Turning into a wolf wasn't something I was entirely comfortable with yet. I was trying to restrict myself to just when it was really necessary.
Well, it's kind of up to me when it's necessary, and I say it's necessary all the time. Is it necessary here? Yes, it is. All right, let's see. What do we have in here? Red mist. Haven't played this in a while, ever since that audio got fucked up in the last episode, but I hope I fixed it now. So whose red scent is this? Oh, we don't know. It's a new scent. Nobody has a red scent yet. I'm just gonna place it. Oh, it's the wine barrel scent. Never mind.
A distinctive bouquet of Ephebian red wine, laden with the subtle fragrance of cabbages and carrots.
Such a bouquet.
There was a lingering smell of purple in the corner.
So that has to be Ilsa's scent. And the blue is two Congress's.
There were some faint traces of a light blue scent in the corner of the cellar.
Do we have to match them?
It was too scattered for me to remember it.
Oh, come on.
Definitely the same scent.
Definitely.
The scent was very weak, and I didn't think I would be able to remember it very well. The scent was extremely weak, and I didn't think it was important.
That's game speak for let it go. Okay, fine, I'll let it go. So there's nothing interesting in here. Back to human. Back to me. Back to your man. No, I'm kind of still fascinated that, death is there.
Who would say like to see this time?
Is Carlotta around?
I'd like to see Carlotta. Is she home?
I will go and check.
Well, that's new. Do you normally go and check? But I do have an idea. We can linger around this room and do stuff, hopefully.
While the butler was gone, I slipped into my wolf form. A purple scent stretched across the hallway, and I instantly knew it was Carlotta. But that wasn't all. The richness of her odor told me something else. Carlotta was a werewolf, just like me.
Dun dun dun!
It seems that Carlotta is not in her room.
Take a message. Tell her to meet me at the Café Ankh later tonight.
As Sir wishes.
If Carlotta was the werewolf who infected me, I wanted to speak to her as soon as possible.
Oh, maybe she infected me with that kiss.
Sheesh! You'd think a guy could take one kiss and wake up the same shape next day, wouldn't you?
She should have told you to get tested or something.
I headed back the way I came. I couldn't shake the feeling I was being watched.
Ooh.
Who would say like to see this time?
I'm being watched, huh?
Can I see the Count?
I am not in a position to know how good your vision is, but you may see the Count, which I believe is what Sir actually meant in Sir's untutored way.
Oh, snarky.
Still here, I see.
In a sense.
I was worried that death was gone, but death is never too far away.
How come you're here?
I came on my horse.
What is it? A skeletal horse whose hooves spark with flames with each step?
No, just my horse.
Binky.
I call him Binky.
And he's not a skeleton?
He happens to be very well fed and looked after, thank you very much.
I still don't understand why you're here. I mean, you're death. Shouldn't you be everywhere?
I am everywhere.
But you're here.
Yes, as well. Don't try to work it out. Even I don't fully understand it. It involves really complicated numbers.
You turn up like this for everyone?
Generally, I'm only expected to make an actual appearance on special occasions.
And this is a special occasion?
Not yet. I've arrived ahead of time. But there's going to be a lot of business in Ankh-Morpork soon. So it doesn't hurt for me to get here a little early.
You wouldn't care to tell me more about this, I suppose?
The immediate future is not a matter on which I propose to enlighten you. No.
Incidentally, someone told me about some of the voice actors in this game, and they're very famous. They're very famous British comedians. And the guy that voices both Luton and Death is Robert Brydon. And now that I know that, I cannot unsee and unhear the fact that he's Luton. It's so obviously Robert Brydon. It's crazy.
How come I can see you? Is it something to do with me being a werewolf?
In a sense. It has much more to do with certain other matters.
Such as?
Ordinarily, I am only perceived by those who are about to die.
So you are invisible? That must be useful.
I'm not invisible, as such. People just can't see me. They won't allow themselves to do it. Until it's time, of course. Wizards can see me, and cats. Odd, really, but there you go.
But I can see you.
Indeed. People in a state of heightened awareness sometimes stop seeing what they expect to see and start seeing what is really there.
Like with Gaspode.
Frankly, I think your seeing me has more to do with your quest for the golden sword.
You know about that?
I've been around. I hear things.
Why should the sword be a factor?
Well, it's more to do with narrative causality, as I said.
It's not really a quest. I mean, I'm just investigating a few murders.
Believe me, I know. I was there.
Well, Death, it's always a pleasure to meet you. And if the audio hadn't gotten fucked up in the last episode, everybody would have heard me just fangirl over everything you said. But that was lost, because nobody should hear that, apparently. But I do want to talk to the Count about everything, because I did get some new items. Did I talk to you about this?
Neither the Count nor Death seemed likely people to discuss that particular matter with.
All right.
I don't suppose you know anything about mosses.
Moss? Did you say moss?
I guess I did. Is it your favorite subject in the world?
Plants, yes. Lots of plants here. Can't remember much about them these days. The memory fails. There are books, though. I forget where. Ah, yes.
Yes.
The library's apocrypha. All the books are there, you know?
May I use the library?
Eh? What was that, my boy? The library. Ah, yes. The library's apocrypha. All the books are there, you know? You can use it if it will help your inquiries.
Where is it?
How go your inquiries? Have you heard from Regan?
Didn't I tell you he died?
No. Not yet.
This room contains the von Uberwald's Libraris Apocrypha. So will, I trust, be careful not to damage any of the priceless tomes housed within.
Oh, don't worry. I'm just gonna slightly drip on them.
I'll be careful.
One would be very upset if one was to return to find, sir, perhaps folding paper animals from a priceless folio edition of the Dictionary of Eye-Watering Words.
What are they?
They are books, sir.
I realize that. What are they about?
The Libraris Apocrypha is a collection of obscurities and rare volumes from across the continent. If knowledge were an animal, the Libraris would be a great dragon. Sir, by the same scale, would be a kebab on an ant's barbecue.
I'll be careful.
Don't worry. So what exactly am I looking for? Information on moss, I presume. Yes, now I've remembered. Great memory.
The library was the von Uberwald's collection of obscurities. Perhaps I could turn it to my advantage. I leafed through a copy of Laws and Ordinances of the cities of Ankh and Morpork. Fascinating stuff. I learned that there was a law that made it a crime to walk ducks across the brass bridge. You had to wonder why it was necessary to pass a law like that.
People had too many ducks back in the day.
I picked a book at random. Ahmed the I Just Get These Headaches Book of Humorous Cat Stories.
That sounds amazing.
There was something very disturbing about it.
And amazing.
I found a rare copy of Fullamith, an invaluable aid for all those whose business is with the arcane and hermetic. It contained lots of things that don't exist and, in a very significant way, aren't important.
Again, game speak for let it go. But I will not.
So many books to choose from. I couldn't help but think I might do better to look up something specific.
Come on, man, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I could probably pick random books indefinitely if I wanted, but I figured it might be more useful if I looked up something specific.
I'm not giving up yet. What about this part?
My hand fell upon the Dictionary of Eye-Watering Words. It lived up to its name. I skimmed through the section of the library that looked the most used. I found a copy of The Joy of Tantric Sex, with illustrations for the advanced student. It raised an interesting question as to which of the von Uberwald household had thumbed the pages so thoroughly.
Probably every member. Haha, every member. Haha. I'll show myself out.
I found a copy of My Life Among the Sponge-Eating Coral House-Dwelling Pygmies by General Sir Roderick Purdy. It was no help at all. I found a copy of Stripfettel's Believe It or Not Grimoire. I learned that the average dung beetle ate more than its own weight in dung each day, but nothing that was going to help me.
Dude, you've been given the gift of knowledge. Take it.
I could probably pick random...
Alright, reach the limit of this. Fine, I'll go to the index cards. It's the most obvious thing.
The books were all neatly indexed by a vast series of cards in a wooden case. It looked like the von Uberwalds were using an ancient version of Huey's octal system of indexing. It was complicated, but I reckoned I could at least use it to find out what books they had on a particular subject, and then wander around until I saw a bookshelf with the right number on it. I could mess up the filing system, I suppose, if I wanted the butler to eviscerate me with sarcasm the next time I saw him. A far better plan would be to use the index to look up a book on a particular subject.
How do I do that? Do I just go here? Can I go deeper in the library? No, this is it. Fine, let's look for something specific. He doesn't want to.
The library, perhaps...
Well, I can't really do anything. Huh. Do I have to use something from my inventory? I can't even click on myself. Give me my inventory. I am facing a little bit of a problem because I would like to access my inventory, but I can't, which is fun. So let's try going in again.
Who would say like...
The library.
I'd like to use the library again.
Very well. I will show, sir, the way, since it seems the labyrinthine corridors of this vast edifice are beyond sir's meagre navigational skills.
Oh, thank you, Luton. Now you give me the inventory. Oh, I thought we were coming at an abrupt end to this game. Oh, these old games.
I found a copy of Orange Crates on the Nature of Plants. The book was a tediously detailed study of the plant kingdom, and one of the most boring things I've ever read. But I found the moss in there. Apparently it was a lycanthrope, a type of animate moss with crude locomotion, found only in the worst sewers in the most decrepit urban areas. Apparently the lycanthrope looked like harmless moss until something to eat walked by. Then they transformed into a deadly lichen and devoured their prey, at least as long as it was small enough. Otherwise, they just clung on for dear life.
Okay, what else can we look up? Luton. Luton, you give me that inventory, Luton. God damn it, Luton. Well, I'm just gonna save now, before anything else crashes. Maybe I can look up the golden sword.
Finding a book on swords wasn't as difficult as I thought. I even found a tome on gold blades. 1001 Golden Swords, the complete story of gold swords throughout history.
Man, there's been a lot of gold swords.
Unfortunately, it wasn't very helpful.
Gold-plated jewels is also pretty vague, but let's give it a shot.
None of the books on jewels or antiquities I could find said anything about a gold-plated jewel. I couldn't write off the possibility that there was something in the library that I hadn't managed to find, though.
Ooh, is that a hint?
If I knew what it was called, it'd be easier.
Interesting. So there's something else to find in the library. What could it be? The sewers.
I checked through the library and found some ancient plans of the city of Ankh. There was an intricate sewer system beneath the city. It must be thousands of years old. It would be in quite a state if it was still around, and as far as I could tell, it would be under the waterline if there wasn't a drought on. Given the rains that we'd had recently, I could only find one section of sewer that might be above water. There was a shallow sewer running from the Magdalen Bridge around the rimward side of the Royal Winter Palace of the Kings of Ankh, now the home of the patrician. I guess the designers weren't allowed to put sewers under the palace grounds, which might have been why the Royal Summer Palace of the Kings of Ankh was a long way from Ankh-Morpork. That and the stench of the River Ankh, anyway.
It was probably the stench. Doo-doo-doo. So new location, but I still want to look up some other things from our notebook.
I didn't really know how...
Don't really know what else might be relevant because they're all events happening now. But...
Although I appeared to be alone, I found it hard to believe I wasn't being watched. I wouldn't trust me with all those valuable books, and the butler certainly didn't.
But the butler might know that Carlotta's a werewolf, so he must be okay with werewolves. Alright, so we got a new location from here. Let's get out of here. Where are the sewers? Is the sewers? Oh right, of course it would be in here. How do I get down there? Were they here? Oh, I went to Magdalen Bridge, not the sewers. The sewers. Lovely.
The ancient civic plans from the library led me straight to the sewer's entrance, not far from the Mortland Bridge. A relatively small tunnel was concealed beneath a pile of debris that must have accumulated over the centuries. It looked as if most of the tunnels here were actually still above the waterline, or the sludge line, to be more honest about it.
The water does have certain flubber qualities about it.
I wasn't even sure it really was water.
Do you want to try it?
I didn't want to root around in the water.
Fair enough. What else do we have to explore in here? Oh dear. I hope this is not one of those puzzles where I can get very lost. But before we do that, Luton, wolf form! Dense light green fog, so that's probably the stench.
The smell of the Ankh was unbearably strong in the sewer, and it was all I could do to remain conscious.
It doesn't seem like there's anything else except stench. Did I get any map or anything in the past to guide me through here?
I didn't want to root...
Where am I? Oh, I might be actually following sense. Luton, just get back here, Luton. Wolf form. Aha! Magenta trail with flashing dots from up there. Okay.
The trail that I had seen in the cemetery seemed to continue down in the sewers, starting at one of the pipes and disappearing into the passageways. It was almost drowned out by the smell of the Ankh, though.
But not completely, not yet.
The trail that I had seen in the cemetery seemed to continue down in the sewers, starting at one of the pipes and disappearing into the passageways. It was almost drowned out by the smell of the Ankh, though.
Oh, you just went ahead. All right. Where to now? Oh, I'm just following it at this point. Fair enough.
The magenta scent permeated the niche, stronger even than the smell of the Ankh. There weren't many times in life you got to say that.
No, not really. Is there anything in here? Debris. How did I even get here? How do I get back? Oh, that's how I get back.
There was all amongst the It
Whoa.
looked like some kind of nest. I was strongly reminded of what I'd found in the Milka's cargo hold, only this nest seemed bigger somehow. Amongst the garbage was some kind of pendant.
Where? Give me that pendant. Luton. Oh wow. That is easy to miss.
The metal of the pendant glinted amongst the debris.
Do-do-do-do.
As I stood in the alcove examining the pendant, I felt as if I wasn't alone. It was the same presence I'd felt in the Milka's hold. I could feel the cold touch of death upon me.
Is he here?
It was a strangely light touch.
Oh. Is it the death of rats?
Size obviously isn't important, I agree. You are death, right? Rats have their own death? No offense, I mean, you're very, very intimidating. For a skeletal rat, at least.
Well, the the Grim Squeaker. So we have met the Grim Reaper of rats.
So what's your connection to the big guy? You're sort of like relatives, then. You probably get together for birthdays and Hogwatch night.
Hogwatch is their version of Christmas.
I'd like to see that. If you don't mind me asking, were you on the Milka before? I thought so. What were you doing on the Milka?
Who smuggled you? Who smuggles the death of rats?
Uh-huh. No, please. Go on. Did you see anything? Well, I don't know, anything unusual. Anything else? Yeah, I saw that. And that's here. This is its lair. It can't be very big. That's not very comforting. But I guess that's not your job. But comfort, I mean. I wasn't suggesting you weren't good at your job.
Careful, Luton. You don't want to offend the grim Squeaker.
I've never looked at it that way before. I couldn't believe it. I was talking to a phantasmal rodent. I hoped he couldn't read my thoughts. He seems easily offended. So, what's it like being the death of rats? You don't get to talk much, do you?
I guess nobody asks the death of rats how he is.
So, do you come here often? I'm sorry, it's not easy to think of things to say to something like you. Well, it's not often I find myself in the sewers talking to a... What are you exactly? Exactly. I'm trying to find a golden sword. Can you help? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the last time I saw it, when it was sticking out of my ribs.
All right. Everybody knows what that golden sword is. Well, everybody that is godlike, I guess. Carlotta is a werewolf. I can't select this for some reason. Maybe it's not relevant to the death of rats. What the... Huh. I think my game is glitching out a little bit. A little bit, yes.
Can you help me find a jewel? Sorry, I forgot. You're a busy entity. Do you know anything about the counterweight killings? Well, no, it's not the rats that are being murdered. That's fair enough, I suppose. I'll be sure to come to you the first time I'm investigating a serial rat killer. We Mad Arthur? He's not a serial killer, he's an exterminator. Well, fair point, I suppose.
Right, so exterminators are serial killers.
I had a feeling that Monday's... I found this in the nest. Do you know anything about it? It was on the Milka. So this thing brought it here for some reason. I could really use some help, you know. Oh, forget I asked. I had a feeling that I suppressed the urge to ask for money.
I just wanted to see the setting, me asking for money from the death of rats.
I was broke, sure.
Oh, I'm pretty desperate. Oh, Luton, you crack me up.
Have you heard about the recent murder of a rich merchant?
I guess not.
Do you know anything about the murder of the reader of esoteric occultism?
Please say yes. I guess not.
Do you know anything about the murder of one of the patrician's clerks? Well, can you at least give me a hint? I see.
He cannot, because he doesn't care about human murders.
Do you think there's a connection between the creature who made these nests and the beast that killed Malachite and the beast that killed me? Can't you give me a little help? No, I understand. Professional ethics and all.
Yeah, no spoilers. Well, it's been nice, Death of Rats.
Well, it was nice meeting you. I have to get going. It's not like that. I have a lot of work to do.
I don't want to leave you. I just have stuff to do. Don't take it personally.
You too, huh? I think the debris had outlived its usefulness the moment I pulled the pendant out of it. Perhaps I should just get away from the sewers and take a shower.
Not yet. I want to inspect that pendant.
I'd found the pendant in the sewers. How it got there was anyone's guess.
Apparently some majestic creature brought it there. I hope that majestic creature is friendly.
The magenta scent permeated the niche, stronger even than the smell of the ankh. There weren't many times in life you got to say that. Still here? That's what I thought.
Well then, let's get the fuck out of here. I wonder what's going on in my office. Haven't been there in a while. Pretty peaceful. There's a crowbar there. Am I collecting them at this point?
My old trusty crowbar, stolen by me from the golem, then stolen from me by the watch, stolen by Nobby from the evidence cabinet, and finally back into my hands again. There was a poetic injustice about it all.
Yep. Did I grab it? Do I have two now? No, I have one. I have to meet with Carlotta at Cafe Ankh.
You wanted to see me?
Indeed.
I tried to reach you at the mansion, but you're never around when I need you.
You never need me when I'm around.
A funny thing happened to me the other day.
I died.
You arranged all this just to tell me an anecdote?
It's a funny little story. I think you'll like it.
I'm listening.
The other night someone stuck a sword through my ribs.
Ah, it must have been someone who knew you well.
The thing is, not long afterwards I was in my coffin thinking about it when I realized I wasn't dead.
That was lucky.
Luck was not a factor. Why did you do it, Carlotta?
Do what?
Make me a werewolf.
If I hadn't, you'd be dead.
Fair point, but you could have warned me beforehand.
Would you prefer that?
That's not the point, and you know it. You did something to me that was going to change who I was for the rest of my life, and you didn't even tell me.
I didn't think you'd understand. Besides, it wasn't as if I planned it.
Are you telling me you turned me into a werewolf by accident?
How long have you been a werewolf now?
Not long.
Have you felt what it's like? That force that pulls on you, that draws your attention to every jugular, pulsing with life? The irrepressible call of fresh blood? A sudden attention to the phases of the moon?
I have to fight to keep control.
We all do. Coming to a city of 1 million people, it's like a starving monkey wandering into a banana plantation. You learn to live with it.
And you decided to infect me with lycanthropy?
Infect is such a negative word. I prefer blessed.
You think this is a gift?
Of course it's a gift. It's the greatest gift I could give to someone. And I chose you.
Why?
You're a smart man, Luton. Figure it out.
I take it you don't know where the golden sword is now.
Of course not. Do you think I wouldn't tell you?
Frankly, my dear, I don't know what to think. Have you seen anything strange around town recently?
What kind of strange?
A little birdie eater told me that Malachite was killed by something bestial.
A werewolf?
I don't think so. Whatever, it was vicious.
You don't think werewolves are vicious? You should hear my aunts talk about me behind my back.
I think whatever this thing is, it's more powerful than just a werewolf. Reagan's dead.
I'm not surprised.
You don't seem to care.
Everybody dies, Luton. Mundy, Reagan, even you.
What's your point?
No point. That's just life.
Where were you when Reagan was killed?
When was he killed?
Shortly after dropping you off at the Temple of Small Gods.
Well, there's your answer then.
I told Carlotta when Malachite was murdered, and asked her where she was at the time.
I was at a service then. Why do you ask?
A service?
I happen to enjoy services.
I bet I would, too. Why don't you invite me to one?
I wouldn't be allowed to bring an unbeliever.
How do you know I'm an unbeliever?
I doubt you believe in anything.
A man can change. Don't you have a recruitment policy?
I'd rather not talk about religion.
Oh, come on, I want in. I want in on the pizza cult.
It's such a controversial subject.
I can't help but notice that your recurring alibi for the murders is that you were at the Temple of Small Gods.
Everyone needs a little solace now and then.
You seem to need it a lot.
And yet you're never there when I visit.
I'm not easily satisfied.
But you always say you're there.
Which god is it that you worship?
I really don't like to discuss religion.
Come on. I only want to know the name.
All right. Her name is Errata.
Aha.
But I don't appreciate you prying into my spiritual affairs like this.
I happen to know a little about errata.
Can I pry into your physical affairs?
Oh my.
My affairs are never just physical.
I bet you say that to all the boys.
All right. Errata. Wow. Glitchy much?
Do you recognize this?
No, I have never seen it before.
Great.
I got a key from Reagan's body. It led me to this. It's empty.
It's empty.
Mean anything to you?
No, nothing.
It's just an envelope.
Tell me.
I already told you. I don't like to talk about religion.
She's not like Om, then. He's the god of Omnia.
Is that the place with the Quisition? All the overzealous holy wars and tortures?
It used to be. They had some kind of reformation, and now they're just overzealous about singing rousing hymns and distributing fundamentalist pamphlets in the street.
Well, that's a kind of torture all of its own.
You're telling me. I got cornered by one of them last week. How do you think I know so much about it? It was 3 hours before I could get them to leave. Thumbscrews would have been quicker, at least.
Temples and gods. So we have a new subject line that's gonna fill up. But now I can go talk to Mal Eclipse again, our favorite conspirafreak.
Have you heard about the recent murder of a rich merchant?
Sorry, Luton. I'm not an expert on murders, despite what you may think.
Yes, but you might hear about rich merchants getting murdered.
Do you know anything about the murder of the reader of esoteric occultism?
No.
That was too fast of a no.
Do you know anything about the murder of one of the patrician's clerks?
No. I don't.
I don't. I don't know anything. All right, I think I've gotten just about everything out of you.
Where can I
Now?
find you?
I'll be around.
That's not very helpful.
What can I say? I go where I want to, with anybody I want. I just happen to be that kind of girl.
You do you, Carlotta.
This isn't over, Carlotta.
I hope not. We don't have to be enemies, Luton.
Since when are we enemies? I thought we were together.
We'll never be friends.
Let's not fight, Luton. We can work together, recover the sword together.
We're partners, aren't we? When did we have this fight? I mean, she did save your life.
I don't know who you are anymore.
I'm the same girl I ever was, Luton. It's you that's changed.
You're telling me.
You know, Luton, you don't have to work with me. You don't have to say anything, and you don't have to do anything. Not a thing. Oh, maybe just howl. You know how to howl, don't you, Luton? You just pull your jaws apart and blow.
After Carlotta had left, I sat alone in the cafe, thinking about my problems. As bad as it seemed, my life was still better than it was a few years ago. Back then, I would have sat alone in the cafe, drinking through my problems.
Do you remember, Samael? Do you remember my drinking days?
Some ale. Mr. Luton. Do you know anything about some kind of beast stalking the streets?
Sorry, Mr. Luton.
Sorry, Mr. Luton, I don't know anything about anything, ever. Goddamn.
I heard that a merchant was murdered. You wouldn't know anything about it, would you, Samael?
A merchant? I think you better ask at a less reputable establishment. I could get into trouble suggesting that something was up in the Merchants Guild.
Why?
The cafe is part of the Merchants' Charter.
The Merchant's Charter?
It just means that if we're found to have caused any bad publicity for the city or the guild, they send someone round to smash the windows.
Doesn't that cause bad publicity?
I'd rather not pursue that interesting point.
Did we get a location out of that, or are you just telling me nothing, as usual?
Do you know anything about the murder up at Unseen University?
No, sorry.
Don't you get wizards in here? You're just around the corner from the university.
No, we don't get wizards here. The wizards prefer the mended drum and other noisy establishments.
What about the other staff?
Well, some of the other staff do call in every now and then. I guess the closest to a regular would be Cassandra, but she's not working there at the moment.
At the moment?
She quits her job occasionally, but she always goes back. The university pays her a good wage for what she does.
Which is?
Mainly laundry and a bit of dusting.
If the pay's good, why does she keep quitting?
She doesn't get on with the head chambermaid up at the new hall.
Why?
Mrs. Folmes has a bad reputation as someone to work with.
He's giving me some information, but I'm not writing it down for some reason. What's wrong with you, Luton? Write all this down. I want to go to the Unseen University.
Have you heard about the murder of one of the patrician's clerks?
Sure thing. I was interviewed by the Watch about it.
You? Why?
He was the clerk in charge of the palace stores. He was the one who bought the wine for the palace.
Really? So do you know anything about the murder?
No, sorry. But there should be someone here from the palace any moment now to collect the next shipment. You could ask them.
I guess I could.
I guess I will.
But I doubt they'd tell me anything.
Maybe I can pay them off.
You hear a lot of talk around here. Have you heard anything about the counterweight killings?
Oh, yeah. I've heard the talk. It's making the customers nervous.
What do they say?
Just rumors. You know how rumors spread.
Well, let me know if you hear anything that has the ring of truth to it. You haven't seen Ilsa recently, have you?
No, I haven't seen the foreign.
I know where he is, but Ilsa seems to have disappeared.
I'm sure she'll turn up when you least expect it, Mr. Luton.
That's what I'm afraid of.
You're probably right, Samael. Thanks again, Samael.
No problem, Mr. Luton.
So there's someone picking up some wine, eh? Maybe they're here already. Not yet. Or maybe they're in here. No. Can I hide in one of these?
I didn't really need a wine barrel. Most of the wine barrels in the Café Ankh cellar.
Can I open one of them? Since I got my original crowbar back.
Okay, I suppose I could crack open a barrel, empty out the wine, hide inside, and wait for someone to carry me into the palace.
There you go.
But I'd need to be a lot more confident that I wasn't going to get caught. And that I wasn't going to wait days before being collected.
Okay, so we've got a good idea, but we just need to get more stuff done. Like what? So we've got an idea, but it's for later. Let's go back here at Temple of Small Gods and talk to Mal Eclipse about everything. Mal Eclipse, do you know what this is?
Do you recognize this pendant?
It is an ambiguous Puzuma talisman.
What does it do?
It keeps away ambiguous Puzumas.
Oh, right.
Does it work?
I don't see any Puzumas around here, do you?
Then it's an excellent Puzuma repellent.
I walked right into that, didn't I?
You did.
Any reason you can think of why a person would keep an empty envelope safe?
Just because it looks empty doesn't mean it is. There could be a hyperspatial vortex in there, a link to some trans-dimensional cache.
Nope. I'm pretty sure it's just an empty envelope.
Pretty sure, but maybe someone wrote on it with invisible ink. But we can talk to you about errata. Or not. Stop glitching. Goddamn.
Carlotta says she's a follower of errata. Is that right?
Bah! I am the only true follower of errata in the whole of Ankh-Morpork. Unless you have seen the light, Luton.
Seen the light?
Do you believe in the ways of errata?
How could I not? Surely, errata is the most worthy of all gods to follow.
Either you've just had a miraculous conversion or you're learning to lie. Good! A useful skill in followers of errata.
Cool.
I heard a prominent merchant was killed.
That's right. A gangland killing by the Shin Kicker Triad.
The shin kicker.
They told Bjorn Iron Trader to stop trading with their rivals, but he didn't listen to them.
I don't think that's the murder I'm interested in.
But now I'm interested in this one.
Maybe it should be.
You know, it just dawned on me when I was editing the first conversation I ever had with Mal Eclipse. He predicted Malachite being murdered. This guy should have his own show.
What about the reader of esoteric occultism? Do you know about his murder?
Ha! Internal politics. It is of no consequence to the world what happens inside Unseen University.
Even if they accidentally summon hideous demons from beyond space and time?
As long as they stay inside Unseen University, no problem.
Fair enough. But what if they don't?
What do you know about the murder of the patrician's clerk?
He wasn't killed.
What was he then?
He's been smuggled out of Ankh-Morpork by a team of crack Ephebian ontological guerrillas.
Ontological guerrillas?
A vicious band of terrorist philosophers trying to spread their doctrine that our existence is purely an abstract experience mediated by a limited sensory experience.
Inhale.
Which cannot be relied upon to provide accurate perspectives or any true reality should one exist.
Sounds plausible.
Exhale.
So, they got to you too, did they?
I guess they did.
I heard a prominent merchant.
That's right.